So we're going to kick things off with this guy named Hutch. He's a hitman, a hired killer. But here's the twist. He's a family man. Yeah, a hitman. He's married, has kids, and life's all good, but his work keeps him super busy, so he's kind of distant from his wife. Their whole relationship is basically just texting. She'll be like, "Where are you?" And he'll say, "At work." She'll text, "I want to talk." And he'll say, "When I get a free minute." And by the time he has a minute, she's busy with her own stuff, so the cycle continues. Finally, one day, they actually find themselves in the same apartment. Hutch says, "Hey, what do you say we take a vacation together? We need to disconnect from this whole world and just hang out, have some fun, and relive the good old days." His wife, though, wasn't buying it. She thought he was just saying it to smooth things over and make her feel better. But you could see on his face that he meant it. So he goes to his boss and tells him he needs a little time off, a break from everything. When he asked for a vacation, his boss was telling him about the last mission he did, where he took out at least 30 guys. But when his boss heard he wanted a vacation, he told him, "Hutch, you're still in a ton of debt. Don't forget, we covered your ass with the Russian mob after you burned their money. And with all the missions you've done so far, you still haven't cleared your debt." Hutch said, "I'm not worried about the debt. I'll clear it. But I need a break to hang out with my family. I don't even recognize my wife anymore. The other day, I saw a strange guy in my house and I almost hit him. It turned out to be my son." So his boss said, "All right, you've convinced me, son. Take a week off, then get back to work. Now beat it." Hutch goes home and tells his wife and kids, "Hey, listen up. We're going to an amusement park and a water park. My dad used to take me and my brother there when we were kids." His wife said, "When you were kids? Who's you?" Hutch said, "Me and my brother." And he showed them an old advertisement for the amusement park from when he was a kid. His wife said, "This ad is ancient. Are you sure this place even exists anymore near him?" Hutch said, "Yeah, for sure. I called them and confirmed it's still there. Besides, I made some memories there that I'll never forget. So please let me help you guys make some memories there too. Please say yes." His wife and kids agreed, and Hutch was ecstatic. "Great. Just one thing. We got to swing by my dad's nursing home and pick him up. He's coming with us." When they go to pick up his dad from the nursing home, it's pretty clear that his dad is the bad boy of the place. All the old ladies were giving him looks I can't even describe, but they were definitely full of bad intentions. Anyway, his dad came out with a lit cigar and tried to get in the car. Hutch told him, "Hey, what's with the smoking? That stuff destroys your health. Please toss the cigar." His dad said, "Come on, that's just a bunch of nonsense. Do you really believe that stuff?" But Hutch insisted, so his dad threw it away, got in the car, and they started their road trip. They arrive at the city with the amusement park and check into a hotel. He booked a room for the kids and a room for him and his wife. He definitely booked a room for his dad, too. That's a no-brainer. Anyway, he takes his wife, and they go to their room. He's about to take off his shirt and change into a t-shirt when his kids burst in and say, "What's the holdup? Aren't you going to take us to the park?" He said, Whoa, chill out. We just got here." Anyway, Hutch takes them all to the water park to get tickets and enjoy the water. But unfortunately, the beach is closed. The girl at the ticket booth tells them to go eat some hot dogs and burgers and come back tomorrow, and maybe the beach will be open then. Hutch takes his family and they go to the hot dog stand. As Hutch is waiting in line, he looks over at a certain corner inside the restaurant, and it brings back some memories of him and his brother when they were kids and went there. He's lost in thought, smiling, and then suddenly, a very grumpy cop who was in the corner says, "Hutch, why are you staring at me like that? What's the deal?" Hutch says, "My bad, I didn't mean anything by it. I was just thinking about something, and I got lost in my head." The cop, whose name is Ibel, said, "Don't you know you shouldn't stare at a cop like that?" Hutch said, "I told you what happened. Is there a problem?" Ebel said, "I don't know yet. There might be a problem." Just then, the girl from the restaurant called out to Hutch that his order was ready. So he took his food and walked away from the cop, but the cop kept staring at him. After that, they go to a place with a bunch of games, and Hutch, his wife, and kids are all playing and having a great time. His son Brady pulls a bunch of tickets out of his pocket and gives them to a few girls who were looking at him. But then this other guy comes up to Brady and says, "Hey man, you're staring at the girls from my city? I've been trying to get one of them all morning, and you just show up and steal them? You better apologize, punk." Brady says, "Apologize for what? I didn't do anything wrong." And then he told the guy to get lost. The guy kept staring, and Brady hit him. Hutch immediately intervened, and so did another big guy who was with the guy Brady hit. He started getting rough with Brady. Hutch told them to back off and said, "It's just a misunderstanding, guys. Calm down." But the big guy was really aggressive. And even though Hutch was holding back and his wife was trying to calm him down, the big guy hit Hutch's daughter in the face. Hutch gave him a look that said, "You just messed up." But he still held it in and left. But after they left, Hutch couldn't get what happened to his daughter out of his mind. So he told his wife, "Hey, I forgot my phone inside. I'm just gonna go back and get it. He went back in and took out everyone, including the big guy who hit his daughter. Hutch grabbed him and hit him on the head a few times, just like he did to his daughter, and kept saying, "How's that feel now, huh?" Just then, his wife and kids came in screaming, "What are you doing?" The police show up and take them to the station. At the station, Hutch and Brady are in a holding cell. Brady says, "Hey, what you did back there was awesome. You're so cool, Dad." Hutch says, "No, I'm not cool. Don't ever do what I did." His son says, "Okay, sure." Then the cop Ebel comes and takes Hutch to the police chief, whose name is White Martin. White Martin says, "Do you know who the guy your son hit is? He's my son. You and your son think you're a gang, going around and beating people up. You're our guest here, and you're gonna do this." Hutch said his son didn't start it and that he could check the security cameras to confirm. As for what he did to his son, he'll make Brady apologize. The police chief said, "Listen, I don't want any trouble here. I'm only gonna say this once. You're gonna take your family and get out of this station in the city right now." Hutch said, "Okay," and he left. He takes his family back to the hotel, and his wife says, "What's wrong with you? This is the vacation you promised us? I told you to take a break from work and make this a nice trip." Hutch said, "I'm sorry. I couldn't control myself when I saw that guy hit our daughter." His wife said, "Your temper gets us into so much trouble, Hutch. And I need to ask you something. Were you even planning on this vacation? Or are you here for work? Because you brought your black work bag with you." She goes to the bag and opens it, but all she finds inside is a bottle of wine. She was surprised and looked at the bottle and saw the name of the city they met in for the first time. Hutch said, "And not just that, it's even from the same year we met." His wife was so happy. "Wow, you really did plan this." She was even more convinced when she found out Hutch bought the bottle 2 weeks ago. At that moment, his wife said, "I'm so sorry. I totally misjudged you." And they were back in a good mood again. The next day, Hutch still doesn't leave and takes his family to explore the city. Everywhere they go, Hutch notices a cop and a few other guys following them. When he sees them following them everywhere, he tells his wife, "Hey, my stomach hurts from the food I ate. You guys go on ahead and I'll catch up with you." He said this so he could deal with the cop and the guys with him. They all get on a boat and Hutch talks to them first. "Guys, I'm just here to have fun with my family, so please leave us alone. I don't mean you any harm." The cop says, "We told you to leave. Why didn't you? And since you didn't, Hutch, you're our enemy now." Just then, the boat starts moving, and they all attack him. Hutch kind of had the upper hand, and he was taking them all down, but the cop pulls out a knife and cuts off one of Hutch's fingers. The piece of his finger falls into the water, and just as Hutch is about to grab it, a fish jumps up and eats it. "Oh well, you fed a fish." Hutch goes crazy after that and takes them all down. He literally destroys them. After that, he calls his younger brother, Harry, who was on the vacation with him and his dad a long time ago. Hutch says, "Hey man, how you doing? I've missed you. You know where I am right now?" And he tells him the location, but says the place isn't as friendly as it used to be, and there's a lot of trouble. Harry says, "Are you serious? This place has always been like this. Our dad only took us here on that vacation because he had a mission. This place is a hotbed of crime, and the cops are in on it." At the same time, the police chief and the other cop, Ebel, are in a room gathering stuff to give to a female crime boss: money, chemicals, and a bag that controls nuclear missiles. Then the cop who Hutch just took down calls Ebel and tells him everything that happened. Ebel says, "How's that possible? A random tourist did all that to you guys." The cop says, "I don't know, you tell me. Did you send us out to face off against Sylvester Stallone or something?" And at the same time, Hutch calls his boss and asks him who runs the crime world in the city he's in. His boss says, "Why are you asking about her? She's a huge problem, and nobody can mess with her. But I'll tell you what I know, just so you know I'm not involved in this. Her name is Lindina, and she's super dangerous. She cares about no one but herself. If you even think about messing with her or her business, she'll destroy you and your family. That's all, man. You need anything else? Bye." And he hung up on him. Then we go to Lindina. She walks into one of her casinos where some guy's playing poker and winning a lot. Lindina goes up to him herself and figures out he's cheating her. So she takes him out right there in front of everyone. Not only that, but she also makes her men take out his crew right there in front of everyone. And she also kills everyone else afterward, so there are no witnesses. But who will tell the story of what happened to him so people will be scared of you and not steal from you? Anyway, she calls White Martin and asks him if her shipment is ready. White Martin says it's ready and all good to go. He also says this is the last job he's doing for her because that was their agreement. But Lindina pulls a fast one on him and says, "There's no such thing as the last job. Your jobs aren't over. And if you forgot, let me remind you what I did to your dad when he tried to do the same thing." And she hangs up on him. After that, Lindina calls Ebel and tells him, "Go kidnap Martin's son and bring him to me. And if you do a good job, Ebel, I'll put you in his place." Ebel was super excited because he's greedy, and he says, "Consider it done." On the other side, Hutch's dad goes to Hutch's family and says, "You guys are still sitting in the hotel? Come with me, I'll take you somewhere cool." And he takes them from the hotel and they leave. Meanwhile, Hutch gets to the location of Lindina's shipment. Suddenly, Ebel is surprised to see Hutch pouring gasoline all over the money, and then he pulls out his lighter and lights it. Hutch says to Ebel, "I didn't come here to cause any trouble. I just came here with my family on a vacation, so please stop following me and leave me alone, and I'll leave you alone." Ebel was in a tough spot and says, "Hutch, okay, you can leave, and we'll leave you alone. We have a deal." Hutch closes his lighter and turns to leave. But as he's walking away, he sees White Martin's son trying to get his attention to save him. Even though Hutch just made a deal with Ebel, he still walks away. He goes outside, gets in his car, and starts to drive off. But a second later, he turns the car around and drives it right into the building. He starts fighting them all, taking them out one by one using every kind of killing method. In the end, he frees Martin's son and takes him with him. But before he leaves, he accidentally lights the whole place on fire, and the only one who survives is Ebel. But the whole place is burned to the ground. The news reaches Lindina right away. She says, "Who did this? Who dared to burn my whole shipment?" They show her pictures of Hutch. Lindina says, "This is the guy who did all this? He's just a tourist with his family." At that moment, Ebel calls her and says, "That guy has to be dealt with. He's a real problem." Lindina says, "Shut up. I don't want to hear another word from you. I'm coming myself." On the other side, Hutch takes Martin's son to the place where his dad and family are. It turns out to be a cabin in the middle of the woods that's hard to get to. There, Martin's son apologizes to Brady. Hutch talks to his wife and apologizes to her again. "I'm sorry, I turned this vacation into a nightmare. In my opinion, you should leave me and go live your life without me because my life is a mess, and I don't want my mess to get into your life and for you to end up hating me." His wife says, "You have no right to tell me what to do or not do." And she tells him she loves him and won't leave him. She also tells him to fix everything he messed up. He leaves them and goes to White Martin and tells him everything that happened. He also tells him that his son is safe and sound with him. For those wondering, White Martin had left the building before Ebel kidnapped his son. Anyway, let's continue. Hutch and Martin team up to take on Lindina because she's definitely coming for them. Just then, Martin opens a weapons warehouse for Hutch, which is full of every kind of weapon. They immediately go to the water park and clear everyone out so they can set up a nice ambush for Lindina and her men. They're surprised to see Harry, Hutch's brother. He says, "I had a feeling you were in trouble, my brother, so I couldn't leave you. I came to help." They start setting up ambushes all over the water park. After they're done, Hutch says to Harry, "I need you to do a special mission by yourself." Just then their dad shows up. Hutch tells them he doesn't want his son Brady to turn out like him. He wants him to be better. His dad says, "Don't worry, he'll be better than you. You know why, Hutch? Because you were both better than me, and I'm sure your son will be better than you." At the same time, Lindina and her men arrive at the city. Her assistant shows her a cabin in the woods and says he thinks Hutch's family is there. Lindina tells him, "Go take care of all of them yourself." On the other side, Hutch's wife is feeling uneasy, and she sees a rifle hanging on the wall. She tells her kids that she's going to help her husband, and she leaves them and walks out. Back at the water park, Lindina and her men have arrived. She sends Ebel to talk to Hutch and Martin. Ebel goes to them and tells them to surrender, or else it's going to be bad for everyone. Of course, Hutch and Martin refuse to surrender. They say, "Get out of here, or go tell Aunt Lindina you're a failure and can't act like your dad." Ebel gives a signal to Lindina that they didn't reach an agreement. So Lindina orders them to kill Ebel. After they finish off Ebel, they immediately start fighting with Martin and Hutch. The fight breaks out. Martin and Hutch take them all down, one by one. Some of her men seem like a bunch of idiots. They see them setting up traps everywhere, yet they're not careful. It's like they're here just to get killed. Anyway, after Martin, Hutch, and their dad have all done their part, they've taken down most of Lindina's men. But at the same time, Lindina's assistant gets to the cabin and is about to attack when he's suddenly attacked by someone who takes all of them out. The only one left is Lindina's assistant. It turns out to be Harry. He fights Lindina's assistant and kills him in a new way by taking his head out of his mouth. I don't know if he meant to do that or not, but what's for sure is that the assistant is finished. Back with Hutch, Lindina goes up to him herself. But first she gives a knife to Martin to rest for a bit. She brings her 2 female assistants. I don't know why she has so many assistants. She points at Hutch and tells them to handle him. The 2 girls start tickling Hutch. Hutch can't fight back, and he manages to hit one of them. They pin him down and take him to Lindina so she can finish him off. But before she kills him, she says, "Me? You do this to me and mess up my business? Who do you think you are?" Hutch says, "I'm nobody." And that, by the way, is the name of the movie. Lindina tells the girls to kill Hutch, but just as they're about to, Martin takes out one of them. The other girl gets super sad about her friend and runs screaming at Martin like a maniac. "Whoa, chill out, psycho!" But luckily, Martin manages to take her out too at the last second. Lindina gives him another knife and then she goes to Hutch herself to finish him off. She didn't know that Hutch's wife had arrived and told Lindina, "Get away from my man!" Lindina gets up and throws a knife at her, but Hutch's wife fires a bullet that hits the knife and then goes into Lindina's eye, and Lindina dies. Hutch and his wife are arrested, and the police take them to a dark room. There, two detectives come in and ask them what happened and who they are. At that moment, something strange happens. One of the detectives gets a call, and someone on the phone orders him to release them right away. The detective was so scared of the person on the phone that he agreed immediately and released both of them. A short while later, Hutch and his family are celebrating that they returned safely from the trip. They're looking at pictures they took on the trip, and they're all happy. We also find out that Martin is still alive. And here the end.